All right, guys, today I'm going to show you how to create these strings here. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to give you guys this project file with materials included. So you can kind of get, this is the wood materials coming for this month. But yeah, today we're going to learn how to create the string. We're going to use a cloth simulation to animate them. I'm going to show you how to unwrap them so you can get good materials, which is not super straightforward. So I'm going to help you out with that. But I promise all of this is easy, which is really what I love to teach. So let's go ahead and do that. So I'm going to go ahead and set up the project file to the way that you guys are going to have it. So let's just go ahead. I'm going to create that project file now. So it's going to be called rope for Pat, short for Patreon. I'm going to delete. So this is going to be your project file. Here we have it. So what we first need to do is create, we need to get a curve to create these strings. So I'm going to hit RX90. And then we need to bring it over this way. I'm going to hit the tilde key and click back. That's going to be the front of this specific thing. I set it up wrong. So we're going to take this here. And then I'm going to go ahead and get my stretch tool. And we're going to stretch this to be here. Then we hit G to kind of move it. What I want the string to go around this. So I want it kind of be in this direction. And then I'm going to go ahead and squash it here. Hit G to move it up. And then I'm going to hit tab now on the string, on the curve specifically. And I'm just going to bring it up to here so that it's above this, because I do want the string to kind of interact with all of these guys. Now I'm going to go ahead and click this guy, hit that, and hit G to kind of move it over. I'm going to hit S to scale it. I'm going to hit G to move it. S to scale it some more so they can do it like that. So what you can do is you can click on these guys, hit G, and move it. Hit this guy, hit G, and kind of move it around so that it works for what you want it to do. So I'm going to hit this. I'm going to hit G to locate it. Hit the center one to scale it out like this. Then they are way too close to the edge. So I'm just going to go ahead and bring it back. And then go back here. And then let's see, I'm going to hit G and kind of move this up. All right, cool. Now let's go ahead and apply some geometry to this. So we need to go here to the curve settings. And right down here, you can see geometry and go to depth and just make this as thick as you want it. Hit Control A and apply that scale. All right, so now we need to go ahead and just move this back to where the geometry isn't touching our collision objects. And that's all you really need to do. Perfect. All right, this is a good starting point. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go ahead and duplicate this and remove it from the view so that we can go back if we need to. So this is going to be the cool part. So what I'm going to do here is bring up my resolution on everything so that we get a nice subdivided rope. I'm going to hit right click, convert to mesh. And if we hit tab, we have a really nice looking geometry. So before we add a cloth simulation to this, we need to unwrap it because right now the geometry is perfectly stable. As soon as we cloth whatever, that's going to mess with your geometry and make it more difficult to create these edge loops. So what I'm going to do is hit the tilde key and go to the top. And I'm going to find this middle one here. And it's okay if it's like slightly off to the right or the left, just roughly the middle. Hold down Shift, make sure you're in edit mode and click on the edge select, and then hold down Shift and double click, and you are going to create this loop. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to hit the tilde key and go to the back and pick roughly the center one. So I'm going to go ahead and hold down Shift, double click here, and then I'm going to hit F3, make, so I'm going to type in M-A-R-K, mark, seam. Now we've created these seams, which is very important to the unwrapping process. And I'm going to hit A to select all the faces, hit U, and click Unwrap. And if you want to see if this is working properly, go to your UV editing, and you'll notice you get nice geometry. Now, it is a little wonky, but you really won't be able to tell. So now that we have that, let's go ahead and check to see if this actually works properly. I'm just going to quickly use the cloth and real-time materials, but I'm going to use existing. All right. So as you can see, it's working properly. But if you don't have real-time materials, just go ahead and go on the internet and find a cloth material, go to cc0textures.com. That's where I got this one. It's actually called Ambient CG. And I got all of it right here. So if you want to go ahead and start to make the material for this, we can go to shading. And I'm just going to be in my cycles view. I'm going to click new. And then with the Node Wrangler add-on, I'm going to hit Control T. That's going to give me image texture, a mapping, and a texture coordinate. Very important with UV. All right, I'm going to click open. And I'm going to pick this color here. Cool. And then I'm going to click and drag. And I'm going to scale up my cloth or my piece here. There we go. I'm going to hit Control Shift D and duplicate that. That's going to allow it to stay connected. And hit G and move all these. I'm going to get a bump node. I'm going to click this number 4, click the file button, and we're going to get in our displacement. Actually, we need that normal. Does it come with normal? It does not, so we have to stick with displacement. All right, plug that into the height. All right, now we have that. I'm going to put my distance, 0.3, and then we can bring that strength down as well. Now, you can see a seam right here, which that might kill you. So notice where we put our seams. We could do the opposite. We can mark our seams here and mark our seams here, and you can hide it, but that's the trick with image textures is you just kind of have to find ways to hide your seams. In this case, I found it to not be super noticeable, but we're just kind of learning how to do it here. So let's bring it down, maybe bring our cloth like that. And then we can do one more. So Control Shift D, hit that number 4, and we're going to get our roughness. We're going to go to non-color and plug the color into the roughness. All right, now we have our rope ready to be simulated. So let's go back to the layout view and we'll be ready to get our cloth simulation to make this rope work. So first we need to get our collision objects, which it's going to collide with these guys. So let's go ahead and in our simulation settings here, just go ahead and just click collision. That's all you'll need to do. You don't even need to make any special edits. Just make them collision objects. It's as simple as that. We'll click on this guy and make it a cloth. I need to get my timeline here because it went berserk. All right, we're back. So if I press play, just didn't touch any of the cloth settings, just kept everything default, it's technically going to work. The issue is it is hollow on the inside. You can see how it deflates. That is very simply fixed by clicking on internal springs. Now we have cloth. Now let's go down here to our collisions, bring on self collisions. Where'd they go? Turn on your self collisions, bring your distance all the way down for both of them. Let's press play. All right. And I'm going to pause it here. And let's just go ahead and do the modifiers. Hover over here, hit Control A, apply that. Now we have geometry. And then I'm going to hit the back tilde and go to the back and just bring it down so that they aren't hovering anymore. And there we go. This is our string. And if you want to go ahead and edit this material or whatever image texture you're using, of course, with the procedural materials, you're not going to need to do that. So for those of you who have access to real-time materials, you can just edit your colors within here. But if you are working with that image texture, what you can do here in the color, type in AHUE, hue saturation value, and then bring that value up, bring that hue, say we'll make it nice blue. And then you can bring that saturation, that value maybe to like 3, nice and bright. Now you have a blue cloth. And that's it. That is how that is done. Very simply, very easily, making some rope, some string, however you want it to do. But it's very simple if you know the components and what you need to do. Thank you guys for watching. I hope you learned some stuff from this. I think this is really cool. And I'll see you in the next tutorial.